Houston Texans at the Miami Dolphins, another game in which we don't know the quarterback situation that really could probably change the way that we look at this one top to bottom. Right now, the Miami Dolphins are 6.5-point home favorites, a 46.5-point total. Tyrod Taylor has not been announced that he is going to start for this Texans team. And so if it's Davis Mills, I completely understand and agree with this line. If it's Tyrod Taylor, then maybe I start to look at least a little bit differently at this game. I mean, I understand it's still a talentless team pretty much top to bottom, but they didn't trade Brandon Cooks for whatever reason. They probably should have, but they didn't trade Brandon Cooks. They held on to him. And if Tyrod Taylor, who we have seen can be a very competent quarterback in this NFL, goes up against kind of this lowly Dolphins team right now, I don't know if 6.5 isn't too much, but again, I don't know if we're going to get that call from this team until way later, maybe even right before the game. Probably in their best interest to not announce this thing until right before the game. And for being honest, I mean, if they're actually trying to win this game, it's probably best to kind of keep this close to the vest. And so, Brad, 6.5 right now, 46.5 is the total.
So I would say that if the backup plays, if we don't get Tyrod, if Davis Mills goes, I quite like the Dolphins here. So I think they can definitely shut down Davis Mills if he does play. So I would take the -6.5 if it's Mills. If Tyrod goes, maybe it's an overlook because, as you say, they've still got. They've still got Brandon Cooks as a weapon out there, and Tyrod was making plays with his arm and putting up points against good defenses early this year.
So, Stephen, the trade deadline comes and goes. It's funny, these two teams are playing this week because Deshaun Watson rumored to, go to the Dolphins, doesn't end up happening. Tua has to deal with the fact that obviously they don't want him there. They have tried very hard. The owner got on the phone with Deshaun Watson and talked to him and all of that. So I think Tua is a pretty mentally strong dude. I don't think that it's going to affect him all that much, but it can't feel great to know that you're walking out there to play for a team that doesn't want you really anymore. And so there is at least that angle that goes into this as well. Look, I think there's a survivor angle that goes into this. I know a lot of teams out there that are still available. You could play the Colts this week if you got it in on Thursday night. There's the Steelers you could play. The Dolphins are another option for survivor as well. I actually put the Dolphins in a teaser this week when I thought that they were probably just not going to play Tyrod Taylor because I thought that it doesn't really make any sense to go out and try to win games for this Texans team, to be perfectly honest. But it seems like they are really and truly questioning whether he's going to play or not. So not in love with the fact that I do have them down to a point in this thing.
So Tyrod Taylor was activated last week on the 27th, Wednesday the 27th. They have a 21-day window to activate him or he's out for the year. So they don't have to activate him this week. So, but they do have to, I believe, per the NFL rules, have to add him back onto the active roster by sometime on Saturday if he is going to play this week. So that's kind of your window to keep an eye out on whether or not he's going to play. But I agree with you. I mean, this team's clearly tanking. They're clearly trading off players left and right. There really is no long-term view or strategy here to activate him to play this week.
Right.
So it wouldn't shock me.
Because he's not your long-term answer at the position anyway, right? So it's like, what's the point? Yeah.
So it wouldn't shock me in the least if they just max out that 21-day window before they have to activate him and then make a decision. So here's kind of where I'm at with this game. If it is Davis Mills again, I agree with Brad that I have no problem laying 6.5 against this just pathetic football team in the Houston Texans. If it is Tyrod Taylor, I might actually sprinkle some on the money line for the Texans because they look like a very reliable offense with him at the helm on a couple of, not just one game, but a couple of weeks this year. And we're looking at plus 240 right now. That'll probably come down a little bit if he's activated. But if you're telling me that at plus 240, the Texans have less than a 30% implied probability to win this game with Tyrod Taylor against the lowly Dolphins, I disagree with that. And I'd probably take a shot at the money line if he's the quarterback.